Hi there, everybody. I'm JP LeBreton, project lead of Spacebase DF-9 here at Double Fine, and welcome to Spacebase Alpha 6, Brig Ambitions, Broken Dreams. It's the new update. It's taken us a while to get this update out, but there's been a lot in it. Just wanted to say something first, right up front. There's a period where folks who are monitoring us on the website and the forums and stuff didn't hear from us officially or otherwise. And some of y'all started to get worried. Of course, we were busy working away on all that stuff in this build that I'm about to show you, but I definitely understand the feeling of being in the dark, and I personally apologize for that. Most of y'all who gave us feedback about that were really considerate and clear, and we really appreciate that, and we promise to do right by all of our players in the future. So we're gonna keep y'all in the loop regularly, as we did in the past. So yeah, let's get into Alpha 6 here. So yeah, we've added a bunch of stuff here. For those of you who are checking out on our website, we told you all a story about a fictitious member of a space base, Grellnash, and the sad tale of their becoming very disgruntled with their life aboard the space base. They were assigned to technician duty, but they didn't like it very much. That's one of the things that we've added in this update, is that people now have affinities for duties. So we see that Grellnash here is very good at technician duty. They've built up their skills over a long period, but they're also unhappy with it. And then there's other duties that they're not as good at, but they like a little bit more. That's one thing that's contributed to... Oh, something just happened here. Oh yes, okay, yes. We're going now to a raider breach ship. Something that we added in Alpha 5 is just broke in, and 2 raiders showed up, and it looks like they killed some people. Which is terrible. So yeah, one of these raiders, these turrets managed to incapacitate 2 of these raiders here. So I want to try something actually. I'm gonna go over to one of these turrets here, and it looks like, oh yeah, it looks like these turrets got destroyed. So these raiders did some real damage to the base. That's another thing that we added, is that raiders will now attack objects in the base. So raiders come up and yeah, wow, oh my goodness, wow. It looks like our raiders destroyed a power reactor here. So all kinds of stuff happening right off the bat, which is why I've paused it. Raiders will attack stuff and just generally cause destruction on your base in addition to trying to kill people. So that's obviously bad. And they wrecked these turrets. But one of the things that these turrets did here is, well, they incapacitated these raiders, and that's something that can happen when people get like stun damage or anything like that. So, and our technicians are now fixing up these turrets. So I'm actually going to deactivate these turrets so that when they come back online, they won't immediately start attacking these raiders and kill them when they're on the ground incapacitated. And so what I'm going to do with these raiders is, as soon as our doctor heals them, I'm going to assign them to a brig, and then they're going to be placed in what we call in Spacebase a timeout zone. So these raiders are going to be healed up by our doctors, and then they're going to be cuffed and taken to these brig zones here, where they will be confined. I've got a heavy door here, just in case they try anything funny. And so that will gradually reduce their angry raideriness, and over time they might eventually become citizens of our base. And that's what I'm hoping for, because it would be cool to have one of these folks, who's one of these raider dudes who have been reformed and have a better perspective on life and whatever. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Who knows? And it looks like they did claim the lives of one of our poor citizens here. Poor Jeremy Chung was killed by some of the phaser fire. And you can see that Jeremy Chung, when he died, dropped one of his possessions. He had what looks like a green kitty doll in his inventory. That must have been one of his prized possessions. That's another thing that we've added in Alpha 6. So yeah, all kinds of terrible stuff happened right off the bat here. We've also got, yeah, one of these power reactors is destroyed, which gives us a good excuse to talk about the power system that we added. So everything in the base now has a power draw, and we can see that by anything that requires power. A bed doesn't require power, a houseplant doesn't require power. But like these oxygen recyclers, for instance, have a small power draw. And we've got 3 reactors around the base here, and they each provide a certain amount of this power. This is a special new type of reactor called the dark matter reactor that I think you can only get through research. And like any other object in the base now, you can deactivate that. And when we do that, we can see all the lights go out. And then we get the little SimCity style power lightning bolt happening above the things. And so that's bad, because people won't be able to, those oxygen recyclers need power to do what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. Also, I believe plants won't grow in rooms that don't have light in them. It's just a simple thing. We've got, yeah, Grellnash here, despite being very sad and ready to explode, that's speaking to their anger level, they are working on repairing this reactor and getting it back online, so that's good. It's now putting out some power and it's got a little capacity to spare, so that's great. But Grellnash doesn't like doing this tech duty, so hopefully they do not decide to act out and behave badly, which could take a violent form, in which case they actually start attacking their fellow base members, which is a terrible, horrible thing, or they will run around trying to sabotage things. And it's kind of the nature of these demos that I can't really know, like all the little simulation-y things, you know, it's semi-random, so I can't orchestrate things precisely. So I don't know exactly when or if Grellnash is going to explode into an outburst, into a tantrum, while I'm demoing this or not. But we've stacked it such that, yeah, this poor alien is definitely on the brink. So yeah, as far as other things go, yeah, we've added the ability to assign people to residences. So when we click on a residence zone, this residence zone has 4 beds. And so these folks have already just decided they'll take free beds, you know, but we can make their assignment to particular quarters official. So we can say, okay, you 2 folks who are sleeping in these quarters, go ahead, these are now officially your quarters, you can always come back here. And it makes people happier to sleep in quarters that they are assigned to. And they get a better night's sleep and their morale goes up a little bit when they sleep in their own quarters. They will also use it to store some of their stuff if they're shelving. We've added these shelf objects here. This gal has an antique computer, looks kind of like an Apple II, and they stored that on their shelves, and oh no, actually this belongs to Cheeseness. So yeah, people will store their prized possessions, and we can see here in the bar, like, yeah, when people chat now, a few different things happen. Sometimes they will, sometimes they'll agree to trade items that they're carrying. So they have different affinities for these items. Some people like, this guy probably had, you know, an affinity for either fluffy objects or green objects or something like that, and that's the reason that he had that object. But people are always trying to acquire better objects, and so they'll talk to each other and they'll trade if they both have something to gain from it. Another thing that will happen when people are talking to each other in places like bars and such is that they have a chance, is that they might brawl each other if they don't like each other, if they're angry, if they're sad, or if they just happen to have a bad temper, you know, which is a personality variable. So that's another thing that can happen. You can choose to deal with brawlers much as you would hostile people. You know, so like, you know, you can have security show up. In the beacon menu now, we've added different settings for the level of response force. So we can say, you know, we can put a beacon on an enemy, you know, a derelict that we think has bad guys in it, or on just a citizen within our base, you know, we can attach that to them, and then security will go over and guard them. And this response level is just kind of setting whether we want security guards to always use the stun settings on their weapons, always use lethal force, like always shoot to kill, even if it's one of our own citizens, or use necessary force, so that if somebody really is using lethal force, then they'll meet that in kind or not. So that really lets you set kind of, you know, like what you want the policy of your base to be, and what kind of a leader you want to be in some ways. So we've got this raider now in the brig who's sleeping it off, still kind of scuffed up, so maybe they still need some medical attention. And I've built a relatively nice brig here. We've let you build different kinds of objects. People have shelves where they can keep stuff, and I've got a monitor and a weight bench. So this is actually a pretty sweet, you know, you could make a really barren, horrible brig zone here. So it's kind of letting you decide, again, what kind of a base administrator you are. Grellnash is still sad over here. Let's click on them, and we can check the psych profile. Here's another thing that we've added. I showed this off 1 or 2 videos ago. We used to have this just as a debug, as a piece of debug functionality, but now we've got it just in the psych profile tab, where you can see the change in people's different levels of need over time. We've seen like their duty need, their energy or sleep need, socialization, hunger, fun, and then we actually just see their morale, and we can see that Grellnash's morale has been pretty low, but it is getting a little better, and that's largely because, you know, even though we've still got them on a duty that they don't like very much, the overall surroundings on this base are pretty pleasant. When they go to the bar, they've got, you know, there's these plants around, and they've got nice food. So yeah, and then we can also see, like, one of the reasons that Grellnesh hasn't snapped yet is that they have a relatively good temper. They have a peaceful disposition, whereas somebody with a bad temper is going to be much more likely to throw a tantrum. And there's a few other things here, you know, that we're all just, you know, we've got a full view of their inventory now, and we've cleaned up a lot of these displays. Another little feature is we added just a flavor text tab for most of the objects in the game now, where you can read, like, it's just kind of like some background info or info about this thing's role in the base or just in the world of Spacebase in general. And that was just a fun little thing to write on the side here and there. And yeah, we've still got from Alpha 5, in case you all forgot. You can now click to answer hails. These things don't pop up involuntarily now. And we can decide, you know, and that brings up the normal dialogue where we can decide what to do or not. But the point is now we have a choice for it. Looks like everything in this demo happened that was really exciting happened at the beginning, but that just about covers everything here. We've got some new immigrants coming in, and so now every time somebody shows up in your base, you can kind of look over, like, okay, well, this person. You have a little bit more of an interesting choice here. You can be like, okay, this person doesn't like this duty that much, but they're good at it. And we do need bartenders, let's say, or we do need miners. Oh, well, this is actually a really good fit. And then you can also check out their psych profile and be like, okay, this person is quiet, they're anxious, and their needs are all starting off pretty neutral. And then those things will go up and down over time. So hopefully we've given you more tools here to monitor these kind of morale situations and stay on top of it and provide for your citizens such that they are happy. And I think that'll also influence whether or not these raiders come around. And actually, yeah, it looks like they are starting to become normal citizens. At the point that they stop being called Raider and they have a name, it's like you're learning their real name. This guy is Dan Storm and was once a Raider and came in here to kill everybody, but now we've managed to reform them. So we could actually unassign them from the brig, and hopefully they will become a productive member of our society. So yeah, there you have it. That's our namby-pamby liberal revolving door vision of the world here, I suppose. But yeah, that's some but not all of the stuff that we've added in Spacebase DF-9 Alpha 6, Brig Ambitions, Broken Dreams. But there's a lot more to it. You can check out the website, and for the full change list, you can check out the story of Grellnesh that we did that has a bunch of cool art by Mark Hamer. That we did sort of to lead up to Alpha 6 and tease people about what the update would have in it, and just, you know, make it feel like something exciting and different was happening with the game, and, you know, flesh out more of the universe that this game is happening in. But yeah, I think that's about all I have for now. Thank you very much for watching, and like I said at the beginning, we will be keeping in much more frequent and regular communication with you and letting you know what's next. We'll be talking about that pretty soon. And thank you so much for watching and supporting our game and providing great feedback for us on the forums and all that stuff. So thanks a lot.